believe we're in again. Welcome everybody to another episode. As previous episode I recorded and I came pretty much in here. It's got me some more tea, and I'm settling in and want to begin because it's time to begin. I'm going to go a little bit in on this. So I'm not gonna monologue too much and share any that. It's just the last video. Thank you guys for the watches. When we went into the obscurity difference between gnosis and revelation knowledge, which definitely was something I thought would be and help people, especially if you don't know and you're coming into. That makes sense. So I have been telling. I told you about the being before the being. I told you about seeking and you shall find. What do you do after you find? And the process that went from seeking, finding to totally being like, oh my God, what is this place? Then marveling at the truth he found. The process of these four, like a seek, find. Then you get into the, oh wow, what is this place? Kind of like troubled. I think it uses the word troubled. And then it goes into you will marvel, but then it's the last part of this would be that you would go, and it's four elements of that. When you look at that book of Thomas, when you hit that last element, it's talking about a ruling, almost like being in a state of a ruler, being aspect of something really deep, a foundation of everything, connected to it as a rule. It talks about being seeking, but once you do find, seek and find, but once you do find, you'll be troubled, but then you'll marvel at the marvelousness, and then the next part would be a foundation of you'd be a ruler, the connection of unity, oneness of one, right, when you start looking at it. But I got some to share today because I'm going to put some stuff together. What went together with seeking and finding, being before the being, right? We even seen that when we broke down gnosis, is knowing who you are. Revelation shows you things, but gnosis, you become what is being shown. The revelation may take the veil, but the gnosis is becoming what you see, almost like eating, devouring, so you become. Eating that which is to be, participating in something of unity, oneness. In the canonized version, it says, I pray that the people will know and become one with us, like me and the Father are one. Notice it says that the people will know and become. To understand that they are one with us, meaning he's saying, my gnosis tells me I'm one with the Father. Now, our prayer for you, rest of you, is that you would also know that you're included in this oneness state of all, which is the being before the being, in a state of knowing. Ooh. That gnosis and that revelation was very good, but we're going to get into something here, so I'm going to share. I'm going to share some of the book of Revelation, some of the book of Phillip, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to hit some spots here in this book. Let me go back out. Let me stop. Maybe I could do it here. I got to get this right. Okay, I had to get this right, if I may. So I'm looking for something specific. We're not reading this whole book of Phillips. There's something that I'm going to hit on. Let me remove this. You guys don't see this, but I see it. Because there's spots it is. And I'm going to try to get through here as soon as we can, because it's not everything I'm going to talk about. But this is a deep book. If you go in this book, it has a lot of stuff. Showing that these, like the rituals of baptism, like here, is not about, this is codes of ascension, of what it means, not just dunking you in water. Looking for slaves and freedom, blessing. Just be with me, I'm getting there, because it's in different spots. Here we go, here's the first part of it. And it says, no one can know the husband and the wife have sex except those two. Marriage in the world is a mystery to those who are married. If there's a hidden defilement in the marriage, how much greater is the true mystery of the undefiled marriage? It is not fleshly but pure. Has nothing. This is what I'm. It belongs not to desire but to the will. It belongs not to the darkness of the night but to the day and the light. If a marriage is open to the public, it has become a prostitution. Wow. This would be an outer court. And the bride plays the harlot, not only when impregnated by another man, but even if she slips out of her bedroom, it is seen. Let her show herself only to her father and mother and to the friend and attendants of the bridegroom. They are permitted to enter every day into the bridal chamber. And this is another aspect that we're going to get into. There's actually 5 parts. You take the Eucharist, you take baptism, and you take the bridal shower. There's 2 other aspects in this. The bridal shower is the heavy thing. He talks about a purity of a wedding, not a physical wedding. Right away says, this is the undefiled wedding. This is the purity wedding. It's a bridal chamber. They called it, I believe, the marriage, maybe the marriage supper of the Lamb, but they didn't ever tell us in the canonized version the secret of the chamber. Let the others yearn to listen to her voice and enjoy her fragrance and ointments. Let them feed on the crumbs falling off the table like dogs. Bridegrooms and brides belong to the bridal chamber. No one shall be able to see the bridegroom or the bride unless you become a bridegroom or a... Remember that. This is 2 aspects of feminine and masculine. It's not somebody outside of you, it's you, within you. There's some more parts on it we're going to get to. This is a very good book. I suggest you guys read it. There's more to this. Where's this other part? Secret of the Truth. Strong. That's like I missed some of it. I know there's more parts in this than it's showing me. Okay, let me go down up a little farther. Notice the baptism and death. These are all deeper knowledge, understandings of gnosis. The horse, all this stuff, the living water, the cup of prayer, all this. There's something else I'm looking for that goes with the bridal. Just be patient with me. I will get their slaves and the free. 2 trees of paradise. Oh, here we go, the virgin. Okay, here we go. The mystery, the virgin birth, right? We're going to go on the mystery, though, here. It is good to speak of a mystery, especially because of the Father of all. Joined with the virgin who came down, and on the day a fire shone over him. He came to the bridal chamber, so that day his body came into being. Notice that his body came into being. The being before the being. He was a recognition of the being that was, he came to the bridal chamber, right? This is definitely, we're going to hammer this with a couple of other scriptures and revelations. We're going to really bring this out. That the day he left the chamber with the splendor of what passed between the bride and the bridegroom, through the force Jesus did everything. It is good for each of his students to go into the chamber and rest. There's another one with this. I guess reunion of the bedroom. Here you go. If a woman and man had not come apart, they would not know death. Christ came to repair the split from the beginning, to join the 2 and give them life who had died because of separation. Now the woman and the man are joined in the chamber. This is an aspect of us, the bridal chamber. This is when the 2 actually become one with the bed, so joined will not come apart again. Adam and Eve separated because they were joined. It was not in the chamber with the bed. I love garment of light, but there may be one more. Oh, the bedroom. See, I was just going. Animals do not have a bridal bedroom, nor do slaves or dirtied women. Bedrooms are for the free. This is the purity. It's really talking from the state of, like, fornication is being connected, or the virgin represents the mind. It hasn't been touched by the mind of man yet. Because within this chamber is a coming together of ourselves that was split. I know there's another part that goes with this, and that's what I'm looking for, and I know it. Oh, here it is. The Lord did everything through mystery. In these sacraments, watch this. Baptism, the chrism, and a Eucharist, and the redemption, and a bridal chamber. The greatest of these is the 5th one, the bridal chamber. Just know this. We will get to the other ones. I want to see if there's anything else with the chamber. Chamber is a huge mystery that was left out. Here we go. From the beginning. This is actually the first part. We went in reverse order. We reverse engineered this. Among the forms of unclean spirits are male and female. Males have sex with souls who inhabit female shape, and females mingle promiscuously with souls in a male form. No one escapes those spirits. They seize you unless you take on the power of a male or female, of the bride and the groom and the bride. Watch this. The power resides in the mirrored bridal chamber. The mirror. The mirror bridal chamber. The mirror. I've talked often. We live in a mirrored reality. Whatever you put out is what you get back. It's just what it is. There's a mirrored bridal chamber of the reflection you put back in this kind of what. When wanton women see a man sitting alone, the man is overcome. They fondle him and pollute him with wanton. Men see a beautiful woman sitting alone, they overcome her, and she is violated and polluted. But when the spirits see a face of a man and his wife sitting together, the female spirits cannot enter in the male, nor the male the woman. When the image and angel are joined, none can force themselves on the man and the woman. That was the bridal chamber and androgyny. It is the two becoming one. That's why you see androgyny, right? It's the two becoming one. He said they were split, but when the two became one, and I had read this in the book of Thomas, when Jesus says, "Hey Thomas, when the one become two, what do you do?" That's a question he tells Thomas. When the one became two, this is a split this is talking about. What do you do? And what you would have to do was enter the bridal chamber, because you would turn the two and reverse engineer it back into one. Reverse it order. Great is the mystery of the marriage. Without it, the world cannot be. The existence of the world depends on marriage. Think of sex. It possesses deep powers. Through the image is filthy. This sex that they're talking is definitely, seeing if there's anything else, and I think that's the first and last of the bridal chamber. Very good book to look at. Have you went and got this book? Or go online, or I'm at now. I think that's it. Three Marys walked with the Lord. The mother, his sister, and Mary Magdala, his companion. This also represents, like even this, the conceiving kiss. We won't get there. We're going to get to the other part, but I see a lot of stuff I like. I like this book. This book is very good, and we will quit the. This is a book of Phillip. So you've seen right away, the bridal chamber was a huge five. It talked about baptism, the chrism, the Eucharist, and redemption, which is not the redemption you were taught in a church near you. It has nothing to do with that at all. This is going into a place within you. This definitely has some alchemy to it, because it's taking two opposites, the feminine and masculine, right? That's part of it. It's taking you into the bridal chamber, it's taking you to the center. It's the alchemy of integrating the two opposites, feminine and masculine. It is also the mind, male, the heart, which is the heart is connected electromagnetic, which is multiple. It's like 60 times, and don't quote me, something like that. There's actually this institute that talks about this. And the energetic field of this is 3 feet around you. God, what's the name of it? I looked it up the other day. I actually did a video a long time about this institute of the electromagnetic of the heart. When the heart and mind, male's the mind, that's Hermetic, right? The, the mind, and the heart, the feminine aspect. are able to integrate and the two become one. That electromagnetic energy, which vibrates at a higher frequency, compasses the male and draws it back into her, and the two become one. And this would even be within just this aspect. The mind would think, the male will think in a higher reflection with the feminine aspect, and even the feminine aspect of a person can receive a higher logic. Remember, these are kind of the two opposites we see within this. The feminine and masculine. It's the bridal. It's where the two become one. They were split, he said. And then if you remember some of the things that it was saying, that this was the process of your going back, and this was actually even a practice to understand the bridal chamber and the aspect of what the bridal chamber represents. In the canonized version of Christianity, right, even in esoteric Christianity, we even read that in that the mystical would not necessarily go into this aspect of it, because it really wasn't known when I was in Christian esoterica. Really, I didn't know. I knew that there was a feminine and masculine aspect of us, and that was being unveiled and seeing that through a process even when I was in it. But to see it in this, as they would actually practice this through meditations and mantras of the unity of connection that you are, because this is a bridal chamber. This is in a place within. Notice the bridal chamber, mind, heart, right? Coherence, coming to one within the head, or the temple, right? Even the temple. We have the fluids. We have the pineal gland and the pineal fluid. Notice pineal, like penis, right? And then the other fluid of the pituitary. Notice they talked about you need a land of milk and honey. One of the milk of the don't get me wrong, I don't want to mix them up, but one is a milky substance, the male or the female, and the other's a golden, like milk and honey. When these two go down, the spinal fluid, it's the activation of this process of ascending and descending down your spinal column. And in ancient times, if you know anything about it, it would be called the Kundalini from experience, Nirvana and Kundalini in Hinduism. In Buddhism, it would be getting to Nirvana. And having these experiences would awaken you to who you are. The explosion of the consciousness, divine consciousness you are, and connected to the light that you are. Because think about the golden and the white and the golden, right? The milky substance of white. We can even see that in the aspect of our the outcomes of our sexual organs, right? We see there's a white, but there's also the golden, the feminine and masculine, and the coherence in this bridal chamber. But there's another aspect I want to share, and let's get into this now. There's something that puts this like a puzzle for me together. See if you can find, if it does for you, and you can kind of see how this works. Because if you listen to me recently, heavily talking the being before the being, no more seeking and the realization or the recognition you found, because this is all connected to recognition. Recognition's like a key. It's a code. It's like the key to the code. Recog, we even talk about cognition. It has to do with your mind, right? Do you know what day it is? How's your cognitive going on with your memory and your mind? If somebody takes a fall, they want to see if your cognition or your, there's a word for it, but it has the word cog in it. Aspects of your memory are working, or you might have a concussion, or you can have cognitive behaviors because of illnesses, diseases, mental health illnesses, right? Let's go into this other and share. I definitely have to get into this because this is good. I'm going to put this together. So this is Revelation, right? 3:12. 3:12. It says, him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. So there's an overcoming. Notice it's not an undercoming. It's not an under, down under. It's an overcoming. There's something that you're overcoming. There's something that you found the way. There's something that you're no longer seeking. You actually found this. You overcame the unravelings of all your illusions, and you have this gnosis working. It says, I'll make a pillar in the temple of my God. What is a pillar? A pillar, right, is something that supports a building. Remember in the Old Testament, pushing down the pillars, we had a ritual done with the twin towers, which represented that story, right, of Boaz and what was the other name that we seen, just doing rituals all the time on us, right? Make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. This is heavy, meaning him that overcometh, he shall be a pillar in the temple, and he shall. Remember, he shall is not just he. Definitely the version of the canonized is not going to go into a bunch of feminine, showing you like the Gospels do, the oneness of feminine and masculine. But you know that mystery, so you can put it with he, she, they're one, right? Shall go no more out, because this is definitely connected to a process of getting through the bridal chamber. They'll go no more out. I used to read this years ago and go, no more. No more leaving a state of consciousness. Remember, you have the outer court. You have the inner court. From there, there's these 3, 30, 60, and 100-fold. And the Gnosticism calls it 120 folds, because it doubles all of them. Is going into the secret place of yourself, because you're the temple. You're also that which supports the temple. It said, I write upon him a name of my God, and the name of that city of my God, which is in New Jerusalem, right? Which cometh down from heaven, let's call it a higher place. I will write upon him a new name. This right here, not going out, is when you're identifying the being within the being. You quit seeking something and you know you found it. There's a turn-on switch with the recognition that allows you to go into a space within yourself that's been open to you. As the veils are lifted, as I think in the 3rd chapter when it goes on, it talks about the 7, what's it called? The 7 chakras, but it's the 7, whatchamacallits are opened, right? The 7 seals. I think it's later in this chapter, right? But notice he says he's going to write a name on him. Let's look at something else. He's, in the name, a very much a oneness unity, which we talked about earlier, right? Feminine and masculine, the marriage. I'm just showing you that this aspect, the overcometh, is the marriage. Why do I say it's a bridegroom ritual? Because it's something that was said, we just read, that this is what the split was about. When we come back in, we're making, the one became 2, they were split. Now that he said, Thomas, what do you do after the one became 2? And he stops. And then he says something that Phillip doesn't give him the answer. But the key answer is, now you've got to make the 2 1. You got to go back. You got to understand who you are. Receiving back that which you are. Remembering. Remember, Gnosis wasn't about revealing something to see. It was about remembering something. Remembering you. He that overcometh went through the process of becoming one again. The bridegroom chamber. And there's a process of getting a new name and have a write upon him a new name. New name is new nature. But watch this. Revelation. One more. Revelation. I think it's 2:17. Hopefully that pops up. Yes, this is heavy. Because look what it starts out with immediately. We were talking about this, 2:17. He that hath a what? Ear. Ear. Let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh, remember we just read the scripture about overcoming, I will give to eat of the hidden manna. Hidden actually is that which is hidden is being veiled and when it's hidden, it's a hidden manna. I will give to eat, meaning it's been revealed to you, and it's really the hidden man. Remember, he said he's going to give you a new name. It's written. He said, I will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth except him that receives it. Here's the deal. And 3:12 that we just read, right? What did it? Do you remember what it said about being made a pillar? The pillar is made out of stone. The pillar is being made out of white stone. The hidden manna is that you're part of the pillar, and the stone a new name written, which is a new nature written, that you came to your highest oneness nature. You're no longer operate. There's a relinquishing, a knowledge of, seeing, a participating of no longer. There's a bypassing of duality that you have power to do, of oneness, which no man knoweth, because no man can knoweth, saying he that receiveth, meaning he that receiveth this is somebody who went through the process of overcoming, and the overcoming is going back to what I've been saying. Seek until you find. When you find, you'll be like, oh God, this is horrible, this reality, this life, it's not exactly what I thought it was. But then you'll marvel, right? There's a conversion to wow. Wow. And then there's a light that comes and you go, I marvel. And then what does it say? I will rule. This is a connection that you're learning to rule within yourself and in the system, because you are connected to the brightest light. You are the light. Remember, the other one said you'll be given a new name written. New name represents new nature, which is not a new nature. You're going back remembering your nature before you were deceived of what you thought was your nature, what you've been even programmed that you're a sinner and all the stuff, because the whole purpose was to wake you up. That sin they pushed was indoctrination to keep you dumbed down, right? New name written, no man knoweth, because a man can't know it unless it's personal to you receiving it, because you came into the unity oneness. No man can know that. You have to come into the oneness in the bridal and become the bride and bridegroom. Now you even are the temple. Because remember, if you read that, which we just read in Phillip, it's like part of the salvation is a unity oneness of the split to make the two one again, the feminine and masculine. And anything outside of this hasn't received the power, it says there, because the bridegroom mystery is a connection to your unity oneness of what you're seeking, is really finding yourself into the oneness of yourself again, oneness, unity, consciousness. The stone is what the pillar is made out of. So they just took the white stone from the pillar because it's all connected as one. The other one mentioned, and I like what it began with, he that hath an ear, because I was talking about this, let him hear. Let him, her hear. They're one being now. What the Spirit saith unto the church, what is being said in the highest realms. And I've talked about the ripple effect many times. That when you drop the little stone, let's talk about the stone, the water, it goes boom, and then it goes out like this, like a speaker, which looks like your ear. He that heareth, and it goes widening it and going right. This is what the ripple effect does into water, lakes, rivers. The ripple effect. It's all connected with everything that I've been saying. I've been seeing this for a number of weeks, and this has been coming to me. I said, this goes with this, because there is a recognition. The key is also, the recognition is the key. When you quit seeking, because you found, you're no longer a seeker, You're now a seer, and you have an ear to hear, and you have eyes to see. Because your gnosis is complete. You're activated to your original, what you are. You are the light that's in a human body. And everything that goes with being in the human body from the lower densities of forgetfulness, amnesia, and you forgot, and you're programmable, so programmable in the lower realms. And the programming started, why the book of Genesis is, this was after the cataclysm. And there is an aspect of them who rewired people and created a new reality, or created a new people, and those certain gods, the Elohim or the El, right? In the first chapter, it's the El. Made them in their image, right? We can even see this was even part of the Sumerian story of taking the DNA, and maybe some of our DNA needs to be transmitted to us again. And as we keep awakening these strands of our DNA strands to the what they've called junk DNA, which is not, they just try to turn it off and dummy us down, is you start firing ignition, recognition of who you are, and the consciousness begins to grow and spread and expand into unity, oneness. I had to share this. I really did. I looked at this and said, man, I got to share this. This is wonderful. This is something that many times I just went into space, and it just kind of, it's been hitting me. It's been rolling. It's piecing other stuff together from 2 years to now. Things I've seen 2 years. I even shared the vision of seeing in the sky. Around the time of the dreams, I don't know if I've shared the dream recently about what I seen with the 3 women. And I was always trying to figure out who those 3 women are. I kind of know now. Maybe I'll share it in the future. I shared a poem with you guys last time. I might do it on the next one. I won't do it on this one. But I just want to say thank you. The recognition. The bridal chamber they did this very heavily. The Eucharist, the chrism, the baptism. And I had kind of threw out a baptism thing. It's not about dunking you in water. It's about activating your memory, because you're 70% water and your memory is in water, just like snowflakes and water have memory and activity, right? You can program them. If you activate your memory, water, it's connected to water, right? You are being baptized because it's washing away your ignorance, is what your forgetfulness and unknowing, being ignorant to who you are, and your unknowing, your forgetfulness, your amnesia state. You're clearing away the ignorance to come in who you really are as awakening, because the ignorance of the ego and the illusions are falling away. You guys have a great time. D-Boy, all small letters, DBOYWCU, Cash App. And of course, Daniel with a capital D, April with a capital A, and you guys have a great day.